Whenever you're ready. Can everybody hear us online? Oh, there's nobody around.
I can hear you, Carrie.
Okay, good.
Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. It is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, and this is a regular meeting of the Presidio County Commissioners Court. If we could please stand for, I'm sorry, if I could have Ms. Catano verify a quorum. Present.
Here.
Here. Here. Thank you so much. If we would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we'll move on to public comments. Any public comments? Okay. We'll move on to our routine agenda items. Agenda item number 1, discuss and take action to approve budget amendments and/or line item transfers.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. We'll move on. Agenda item number 2, discuss and take action to approve the auditor's monthly report.
Yes, sir. Brought an email with you guys as well. One of the things to note on this report is I believe it's our beginning one moment. We have submitted I think it's our 4th payment for the EDAP loan to the Bank of Oklahoma, and we did receive the full payment for the City of Marquez portion.
Good. I'll make a motion to approve the auditor's monthly report as presented.
Second. I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, discuss and take action to approve the treasurer's list of claims and bills.
Good morning, Judge Commissioner.
Good morning.
The amount for bills is $140,008.62. And this is routine items, nothing out of the ordinary.
I move we accept the treasurer's report as presented.
A second.
I have a
Treasurer's
motion.
bills list of bills and claims.
Okay. So I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Agenda item number 4, discuss and take action to approve the treasurer's monthly report.
The general fund, the beginning balance, this is January's beginning balance, is $1,257,248.34. The ending balance for January is $1,756,782. The current amount that we have in the bank, and this is as of yesterday that I checked, was $2,797,436.31. The month for January, we got a really good tax assessor report. So that's why that jumped drastically The payroll for January for all three payrolls was $493,919.88. And our savings account, for January is at $555.24, with the yield of $70.98 for the month of January.
Okay. Thanks for beating me to the punch on asking how the taxes were coming in.
I was a little scared in December. I told them, yeah, I had some just questions. But then we got a really good amount in, for January. That's why you see that drastic jump from the end of January till February.
Any questions on the monthly report?
I move we accept the monthly report, the treasurer's monthly report as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Discuss and take action to approve previous Commissioners Court minutes. And they are from January 7th, 2026 and January 14th, 2026.
Well, I know I'm typically the one that says I've read them, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I have not read them. Does anyone have any input?
Yeah, no, they look
good.
to me.
Okay. Well then, after Joe's statement, I will move that we approve the previous Commissioners Court minutes for January 7th, 2026. Do they have to be separate approvals? And also for January 14th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And updates and or reports from Lone Star Strategy Group. And I know Mr. Rodriguez was he's at that water conference.
Right, I'm going to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Terry, did we get a report from them? I didn't
Yes,
see.
it's in here. Yeah, they did.
Why am I not? Why am I so?
It just has an update on the rural ambulance plan.
You need to work here. And then you have to select today's meeting. And you'll see all the items for today's meeting.
Okay.
It's basically just the ambulance grant.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that, there's no motion on that. It's just updates and reports. All good.
All right. Now, I see it's Lynette Brim, and I know her plate's full with everything going on. I don't know if you guys would object to going from agenda item number 7 to 11.
I have no objections, but I'm gonna meet with Lynette at 12:30 as well. So, yeah. Yeah.
So you're good. Right. So you don't mind sitting there waiting patiently. All right. Well, we have coffee in the back. So help yourself. Agenda item number 7, discussion with action to move the office for the Victim Assistance Coordinator from Presidio County Annex Building B to the former Road and Bridge Office in Building B.
It would actually not be where Road and Bridge is now. It's now gonna be where the appraisal used to be, where Yolanda had the office.
Okay.
I do know Sheriff wants the office back,
Mhm.
and it's fine if he wants it back, but I really hope that Building B gets fixed. There's a lot of mold in that building. As I can be there for an hour or two whenever I start getting congested,
Right.
or I start getting a headache. That's why I had asked Commissioner Hernandez if I could sit there and work from there until everything would get resolved with the office. And he approved it. I also talked to the judge about it, and I know it could be temporary, but we do need it's either to get the office fixed in the back or to get it moved to the front. 'Cause there's a lot of mold in that office.
And hey guys, I'm
Madam
here too. Can you hear me?
Hey,
Yes.
Blair.
Hey everyone. I didn't know that there was going to be a second contender for the office until a couple days ago. Road and Bridge had last month, y'all approved Road and Bridge to be in that office. So I don't know if we're calling it the last Road and Bridge office or last appraisal office, just as long as everyone's aware of the same space that we're all talking about. Jessica had asked me several months ago when she heard that Yolanda from the appraisals office was going to be moving out of that office if she could move up there. And I said, absolutely. Once you know that Yolanda's for sure leaving, we can bring it up to Commissioner's Court, and then Road and Bridge beat us to the punch. It's a popular office, I guess, but and then Road and Bridge decided to stay in their current office. So now we're here asking for it. Jessica does work 8 to 5 in an office, and she's stuck in the back, building B, which we all know has a lot of issues, including rain issues and mold issues. So since she's works a desk job in an office all day long every day, I would like for her to be in building A. I don't want her to have to sit in the circumstances that she's in building B. Again, since she's a desk, someone who has a desk office and sits at a desk every day, I think that makes the most sense. And so that's what I'm asking for y'all is to help let her move up to building A, and then that also opens up that space in building B. I know that there are a couple of offices on the side of building B that are for deputies, that are for the sheriff's office. And so if this opens up that office in building B, maybe they can just put that, take that office as well, and then they can have all of our officers in building B instead of spreading them out between the buildings.
Thanks, Blair.
Let me,
Well-
let me just give my 2 cents. I think the best thing for this is just to table it. It'll give us, because there's some things that we've got an evidence room there that the sheriff made me aware of. One of the things he was telling me that I didn't know, and I forget the year, I think it was 2012 or 2016, somewhere around in there. It was the sheriff's office. And that is why they have an evidence locker in there. So, and then that is when the appraisal district moved in, not the, yeah, the appraisal district moved in. And they kind of lent them that space. And now he's saying they're overcrowded. If you've been in the sheriff's office in Presidio, it is very crowded. And it's got water damage. Both of those, the highway patrol and the sheriff's offices have damage. I think it's a viable option for them to take over that B. Again, we already know that repairs have to be done. But it'll give us more of a chance to go and, just let the dust settle and try to figure everything out. So we don't have to be doing musical chairs. I think we've been doing musical chairs now, the last month or so, 2 months.
3 months.
Let's just do that. I agree. I've been in those offices, and your head does hurt, especially after a rain. A day goes by and it has a staunch odor.
Just yesterday, it rained almost the whole day, and it was already wet.
Jessica and I walked that office, and there's a big black mold patch, I think, somewhere on the northeast corner. We've already, if you go into what was the old JP's office, we've already cut 18 inches of a board around it just to let it drain. And we pulled up all the carpet because it was just saturated. So,
Well, I'd like to just bring the whole court up to speed. On Sunday, I received a call from Chief Deputy Joel Nunez. And I've shared as much as I can with Jessica, with Blair, with the sheriff's office. But they are, I think the verbiage is we have to postpone this until the February 25th meeting, because they do have an agenda item in which we can have more discussion at that meeting. I asked them if they moved into building A, into the old appraisal office, would they be willing to give up their small office in building B? And they're not. They have 2 deputy officers currently in there, plus they have 2 officers for Stone Garden. And the way it was explained to me was that they also need time. There's times when they have to deal with the public and have a confidential conversation, and trying to do that in building B doesn't work. So basically the sheriff's office is going to propose to us on the 25th that they want both offices, which brings up to me as a commissioner is building B has been an issue for a long time. I think that was one of the reasons we went out after those certificates of obligation. So, and that didn't happen for all the reasons that it didn't happen. But, you know, Joe, it is an issue. So I guess my question is, when do we really look at the annex instead of kicking that can down the road and figure out how we can affect repairs? Do we need to have a committee? I thought there was one at one point in time when there was an RFQ and RFP to start working and doing repairs, but I have no idea where that went.
Yeah.
So that is a strong suggestion that I'd like to make is this is an issue. No, you're absolutely right. Staff shouldn't have to live that way, just like staff shouldn't have to live the way they do in the courthouse here. So it's not on the agenda, but I think that we do need to get together, maybe a committee of 3 or 2 or whatever, just to make sure we focus on that annex and get those repairs made. And having said that, I would like to make a motion that we postpone to move the office for the Victims Assistant Coordinator from Presidio County Annex Building B to the former appraisal office in Building A until our next Commissioners Court meeting, which will be February the 25th.
Okay, do I have a motion to table?
I'll second it, but I want to say, I've been in this off and on for a long time.
Right.
And I'm sick and tired of kicking stuff down the road. That building should have been fixed. I don't know, has anybody just got a mold abatement guy to go in there and look at it and say, we can do this now? Anything. But we can't keep kicking the can down the road like this.
Yeah, one of the things we need probably, the first thing we need to do is a roof. Because
Yeah.
that's where the water is coming from. Once we fix the roof, we should be.
I know
we
the
shouldn't
county,
be able to hardly get it.
right. I know the county has to follow certain rules to get anything fixed. But that shouldn't be the kind of roof that would take a huge amount to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big a building.
Madam Auditor, wasn't there at one point in time, we were looking for a contractor to get all that fixed?
Yes, we did. We just now received that responsible from the architect.
Okay,
So that guy not providing any of the documentation or required.
okay.
I do know, and Frankie, also checked the building. It's not just the roof, it's also how the sidewalk is around the building.
It brings the
Oh,
water
yeah.
into it, right.
Instead of
That's
making it
pretty
go
easy to
out,
fix.
it makes it go in.
That should be a pretty easy fix there.
If I may say, Frankie did, during budget time, you guys did budget for the repairs of the sidewalk for the annex, so I guess that's something that you just have to look into, who's gonna do it.
Yeah, I hate to admit this, at one time, I poured a lot of curb and gutter sidewalk, and that shouldn't be that tough a fix. Just, if nothing else, remove it and change it or put a French drain in, something. Yeah.
So the sidewalk repairs are budgeted for this fiscal year.
Okay.
And Margarito, I think that is your precinct and you have the responsibility. Maybe you can look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it, maybe get an estimate with the person probably fix that roof.
Sure.
You know, because the roof on the center, it goes like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes down, it goes like that up towards the
Right.
edge of the building. So the water has to go one way or the other, it's gotta go inside the building.
So all of this to say, we hear you, Jessica, and it's not only you, it's just about everyone in Building B currently. So hopefully, Commissioner Hernandez can look at the sidewalks first, and then we can start discussing how we do the roof. If, surely there are some architects that, did we go out wide on that search?
No, because it was under 45,000, and at that point, it didn't meet the bid limit.
Okay,
It's just not enough for the architects to provide us with anything.
okay.
So then we will have a plan from the architect
Well, you kind
or
of,
how to fix it.
you kind of have to figure out how much it's gonna be, because this was about a year and a half ago, 2 years, probably cost way more. But I can help you, figure that out if you would like.
My personal, I don't know that we need an architect. I think any good commercial roofing company could probably fix that building easily.
I know,
As long as
what
you
you're
get the
saying.
bid, you have pretty much contract
Right.
with someone that's qualified.
Right, and I know we used, and I cannot remember the name of them. I know we used somebody on the jail a few years ago and we don't want them. Judge Gavar can tell you who that is, but any commercial roofing company should be able to fix that building without a great big issue.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
You know, I'll look into it and get an estimate or something.
Right.
We'll get back to this meeting.
Yes.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jess.
Agenda item number 8, discussion with action to approve the disposal of a metal desk, hutch, and lower cabinet with a metal filing cabinet.
That would be the sheriff's office, and I see no one on.
Yes,
So,
I'm right here.
I-
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so this one and the next one are pretty self-explanatory. This filing cabinet, we don't even know where it came from. I would not be surprised if it's 20 years old. It's not tagged. There's no serial number. And we're just moving it out of the deputy's office. They inherited some of the sheriff's old furniture because the sheriff got new furniture. So we don't have any space for it. So we would just like to dispose of that. And it's the same situation with that little rolling desk. It's really old. The top part and the bottom part of the actual desk are held together by tape. If not, the top part of the desk comes off. And again, we're just moving that out because we don't have space. And again, it's just super old and past its life. And as far as that hutch with the lower cabinet, it was literally collapsing. So we did order a replacement for that. I mean, it was under $200. And so we're just asking permission to be able to get rid of that old one. It's not fixable or salvageable.
And for those of you that you know can't see what I'm seeing, it's a picture of that
Yeah.
hutch, and it looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
So
And I'm sure it's in much worse condition after the rains we've had, so,
Okay.
I'll move that we approve the disposal of a metal desk, hutch with lower cabinet and a metal filing cabinet.
and the number 9, discussion with action to approve disposal of an HP LaserJet Pro printer from Dispatch.
It's the same situation with this. It's a 9-year-old printer, I believe. So when it prints, it's like there's some letters burnt into something somewhere. So no matter what you print, it has like random writing and letters on it. We did try to troubleshoot it. We've tried to clean it, but at the end of the day, it's a 9-year-old printer. We're not replacing it right now because they already have a different printer. So we just wanted to be able to dispose of that.
In the spirit of moving this forward, I move that we approve the disposal of an HP LaserJet Pro printer from PCSO Dispatch.
Second, go ahead. Second.
It was a close second.
Yeah,
Right.
double second.
Yeah, I'll be the tiebreaker. I'll give it to Margarita. So I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. I believe Deputy Marquez should be there for the racial profiling.
I'm trying to hold him back. He looks pretty excited. Agenda item number 10, it's a discussion only. It's the Presidio County Sheriff's Office 2025 Annual Racial Profiling Report.
Good morning, Judge.
Next morning.
As usual, every year, Presidio County Sheriff's Office, along with other law enforcement, are tasked with turning in a racial profiling to the state, as well as presenting it before commissioners. So I believe everyone should have a copy of it if you have any questions.
What's the overall gist?
The racial profiling?
Yeah.
It just basically goes into every traffic stop that any of the deputies make. And so it just outlines, whenever we're in a traffic stop, we're required to list, race and ethnicity. And, basically show that we're not.
It's a legislative mandate
Right.
Yeah.
with, it was probably 4 or 5 sessions ago. And there was a lot of talk about racial profiling.
Yeah.
And so they have it as a check mark that every entity that gets any kind of funding has to show the number of traffic stops and what the ethnicity is. It might even be longer because I think even when I was still a trooper, we were already doing this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Well, I like the fact that you do not know the race or ethnicity prior to stopping them.
No, yes.
That was a good mark. This looks great to me. I have no issues. So thank you for presenting, because this is not an action item, right?
No.
Thank you, Steve.
any other
Thank
questions? No? Ms. Brim, agenda item number 11, discuss participation with the, I don't know if that's a typo, BIF.
Yes, I apologize.
No. That's okay. I sent an email yesterday, and then as soon as I sent it, I reread it and I was like, yeah, it doesn't look very smart. With the Big Bend Hospital District and the grant application for the Rural Texas Strong funding. So I'm excited. We've been talking about this. Good morning. We've been talking about this. We had some great meetings. I'm sure you're going to bring us up to speed with all of those. But this is a great opportunity, and I think we have a great plan. So fill us in.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to share this with you. I really want the court and the public to know what is coming on the horizon, this wonderful opportunity. So my role is to bring everybody up to speed. I do have some requests at the end of the presentation. I also wanted to let you know that on the call with me is Isaac Middleton, who is the CFO of Hamilton Health. And Hamilton Health, there it is right there. Hamilton Health, we're working with them to put together this application for this funding. You may or may not know the name Hamilton Health, but you probably know Bravo Health. So they own and operate Bravo Health in Terlingua, in Marfa, in Presidio, and in Pecos. So they're working with us on developing this application. So you go to the next slide, please. So what I'm going to cover today is the background on how this funding came available, how much funding is available, who can apply for the funding, what is the purpose of the funding, what it can be used for, and then kind of our plan and the next steps. You can go to the next one. So in July of last year, the Big Beautiful Bill was signed, and in that Big Beautiful Bill, there was $50 billion for rural healthcare transformation, RHT. And then what happened is 25 billion of that was available for states to compete to get a share of that. So Texas competed, and Texas was awarded $1.4 billion over 5 years that can only be used for rural healthcare. And that was announced in December of last year. So this is very new. So if you haven't heard of this, this is just in the last few months. Go ahead, next slide. Kind of moving from left to right, this is kind of a visual of it. It came from the federal level down to the state level. And now the state is going to release an RFP for the local entities to apply for and compete for this 1.4 billion. That's the question mark. That's where we're at right now. We are preparing for this application. You can go to the next slide. So Texas has laid out 6 different areas. You'll have to make that a little either smaller or bigger to see it all. That's perfect. So what the state of Texas has done, and this is through the Office of HHSC, so Health and Human Services, they've laid out 6 different areas where they would like for the funding to be spent. There's 6 initiatives. Those are the names of each initiative. You can see there, that is the amount of funding that has been allotted in each one of those. Not each initiative will be released at the same time. They're kind of staggered over 5 years. And not all entities can apply for all 6. So let me just go through them real quick. So number 1, Make Rural Texans Healthy Again. That's focused on prevention and wellness. The second initiative is a consumer-facing patient portal to really coordinate healthcare across the region. Number 3 is technology, looking at uses of AI in our healthcare. Number 4 is basically workforce retention, creating a workforce sustainability in the healthcare industry. Number 5 is also cybersecurity. And then number 6 is capital infrastructure for healthcare. So the hospital districts are the only entities that can apply for number 1, part 1. Numbers 2, 3, 4, entities called a CIN, a clinically integrated network, can apply for 2, 3, and 4, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then number 6, private hospitals can apply for that, and I believe, yeah, private hospitals on that one. They just made some changes last week, 100 pages of changes to this. So, you can go to the next slide. So we're going to talk about initiative number 1. So initiative number 1, $433 million. That's the Make Rural Texans Healthy Again. Who is eligible are 80 rural hospital districts. So we will be competing against only rural hospital districts. So we're not competing against Bexar County and larger urban populated hospital districts. In year 1, they earmarked $250 million. So year 1 is actually this year. This money will be distributed by 4th quarter of this year. Now, the methodology for how they're going to distribute that at this moment right now is unclear. We're still waiting for more instructions. Are they going to do it by population? Are they going to do it by, the square miles? Are they going to do it by need? We're not really sure how they're going to do that right now, but that's not stopping us from preparing this application. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So what are some of the goals? I do want to talk to, this is really important. And to me, this is exciting because the HHSC has put forward their goals for what they want this funding to be used for. And I'm going to go through these 4 bullet points. They look really broad: create community-based chronic disease prevention and reduction. So what it's saying is, especially in rural America, we know that chronic disease is more prevalent than if you live in San Antonio or Houston. We love living out here, but we do have disparities when it comes to our healthcare. So this particular funding says we want you to come up with ways to reduce the amount of chronic disease that is present in our community. And so that could be diabetes, chronic heart disease, COPD. It could also be prevention of cancers. They also specifically give us targets of reducing obesity in the entire region. Okay, and how we're going to do that? Well, how we're going to do that is with wellness programs and nutrition programs. This comes directly from the grant, this language right here. You can go to the next one. The next slide. Thank you. So here's some key elements. Increased access to healthcare in the area. What does that look like? Is that more primary care? Is that specialty care? Is that improving EMS? There's quite a bit of creativity that we can come up with in solving these issues. It also will include access to local healthy food. Do we have access to local healthy food in our communities? Not really. You know, we have, there's pockets where yes, there's farmers markets, and there's pockets where there is some locally grown food, but for the most part, we have Lowe's. And we all know that we're like the last stop on the truck, and that impacts the quality of food that is available for us. And then the other element is access to fitness and exercise. So all three of them go together. What I like to call it is a three-legged stool, and you need all of them to be a healthy human being and have a healthy life. So go to the next slide. So this kind of breaks down a little bit the increased access to healthcare. Y'all can read these, but I do want to highlight a couple that I think are going to be very interesting to y'all, is that it does specifically say in there, after hours primary care. Now, why would that be in there? Because we realize in rural America, sometimes your primary care is calling 911 and EMS because it's 8 o'clock on Friday night. So the grant specifically has funding in there to support after hours primary care. Now, you all need to keep in mind that in this grant, there is one key element, and that is sustainability. The funder wants to make sure that whatever plan that we come up with as a hospital district and as a community, that can be sustained through the hospital district or the entities that we're working with after the 5 years. So that's a really important piece.
Lynette,
Yes.
will the proposed new clinic down in Presidio, will it have after hours, do you think?
I would think if not them, PCHS, one of those clinics would have after hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Hamilton is really developing this. We're not going to go into the detail today, but they have come up with a really innovative, creative, out of the box thinking. What if we could really wish what healthcare could look like in this community? What would that look like? And so they're consulting us on that, and we're all going to get the benefits of that experience. Can you go to the next slide, please? So access to local food. In the grant, it says nutrition education, providing healthy cooking demonstrations, local growing, develop local growing. So we're looking at how can we grow our own here? Why are we relying on Lowe's or Benny Keith to supply everything that comes into this area? Why can't we do it locally? Well, we can. We need to put some creative heads together and think about how we can do that and how we can sustain it after the grant ends.
You need a workforce for one thing.
Yes, sir. We need a workforce, and we need to come up with creative ways that it doesn't take kind of the way things used to be done. There's a lot of new ways to grow food that doesn't take as many people or hours or land. So we're looking at that. You can go to the next slide. So in this application, it talks about subsidizing, look at that second bullet point there, subsidize the facility costs of a community wellness center. When I first read that, I thought that's interesting because I don't think any of our communities have a community wellness center. So in lieu of that, what we believe that we're going to be able to use the funding for is to renovate something that might already exist. Is there a civic center that might already exist? Maybe there's a park that needs some revitalization. Maybe there's a city pool that needs some renovation that could be used. So this is a really, this can get very creative and can get expensive very quickly. So we're going to be looking at a broad scope of ideas for this bucket. You can go to the next slide. So here it is all together, a regional disease prevention program. You need all three of these to be a healthy human being. If you have great access to care, but then you don't have healthy food, then after years and years, that's gonna catch up to you. And if you're living a sedentary lifestyle and you don't have access to good fitness and exercise, that's also gonna catch up to you. You go to the next slide. So what is our plan? So this kind of gets into our initial stages of the plan. You can go to the next slide. So the funding will come through the hospital district, and then we will have agreements with the counties and the cities to distribute this funding, and y'all will be partners with us in actually fulfilling it and carrying it out. Then on the other side is the healthcare providers. Funding will come to the local clinics, the local pharmacies, home health, in a coordinated effort to improve services in this area.
So does the hospital district manage all the administrative grant paperwork?
Yes.
And so, but each entity has to report in.
So what we will likely do is we will have a statement of work that the entity that is receiving the funds from the hospital district will be responsible for fulfilling.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
What's not in here you don't see, but it is part of this, is transportation. So there is funding allotted to improve the transportation of all these services. So we are working with TRAX right now. You know, TRAX has their vans and those are available, but we're looking at making improvements to them. Okay, you can go to the next slide. I think there's one or two more slides and then. So this is not just Presidio County. This is a 5-county initiative that we are putting together. We have gone to the judges and to the counties, and the reason why we're doing this is because we believe that coming together as a rural community is going to make this application one of the strongest that is presented to HHSC. It is a more difficult task to do it that way because there's so many entities, but I believe we have the right people in place to do it, and we're motivated. Yeah, I can go to the next slide. So the next steps, and go to the next slide. We're in the project development phase right now. We're identifying the key stakeholders. We're gathering the needs list. I have sent out emails to every city, city council, city mayors, city administrators, to counties. What is your needs list? What does your community need? And I'm getting that back. I'm getting back proposed budgets. We're starting to put together a master budget at this point, and we're engaging the community. We have a town hall tonight in Presidio. We've got a town hall in Alpine next week. So this train has left the station, and it's going to be very quick. We're going to have to submit this by next quarter. The next slide. So here's my contacts. If you have an idea, or commissioners, or if there is something that you're reading this and you're thinking, has Lynette thought of this, or has our team thought of this, I please ask that now is the time to reach out to me, and let's put it on the table for consideration.
So Lynette, you're showing us initiative 1, right? And then I know that there's 5 counties involved. And so, Joe, are the judges and stuff working on a different initiative, or are y'all looking just at initiative 1?
No, we're looking at all of them.
Okay, I
Or
thought so.
we're being
Yeah.
introduced to all of them.
Okay.
I think, back to Lynette's point is, and we see this, and I warn people about this all the time. The rules change as you go. And so you have to be prepared for that.
Right.
So our big thing is we do agree we have strength in numbers. We're very lucky that Senator Blanco, who we met with a couple of weeks ago, is on board. He happens to sit on that committee. So, and there's just a lot of things that seem to be falling into place that I think that, and again, I do think that we're going to have the strongest presentation. The entire goal of the distribution of this money is they want to solve in the future. So they're going to provide funding for 5 years. They want us to prove that we can solve rural healthcare issues. There's no one more rural than us and a geographical area. And then we're all united. So if we can be successful and we can get to a point in 5 years where it sustains itself, I think we'll be the model for the entire United States, whether you're in Montana or South Dakota or wherever you are.
Sure.
So It's a great opportunity.
And I just talked about initiative one, because that is the
Yeah.
one that is the largest pot of funding. The hospital districts directly get the funding, which was a change from last week.
Right.
Initiative 4 also comes up this year, and Initiative 6. Initiative 6 is a lot of infrastructure. We're working with the hospital. They're coming up with their needs list, and yes, the mammogram machine is on their
Yeah.
needs list,
Yeah.
plus a lot of other things. But to his point, it's moving fast, and there's a lot of parties involved.
Right. And to let y'all know, I get to meet with Lynette from time to time, and she is just a real pleasure to work with. Thank you. We are going to have a meeting at 12:30 this afternoon because Lynette needed a little help with getting Marfa to move forward. I suspect Presidio has been very responsive. So we are going to be meeting with the Marfa Parks Board, and we're also meeting with the two groups that are currently helping us with our Vizcaíno Park and also the golf course. And that would be the number 3, right? That wellness.
Actually, that would all be in bucket number 1.
I mean, it's initiative number 1.
Oh,
And
but
then
that's right.
subsection number
Yes,
3.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to
It's
follow
really-
that when I was writing.
It's a lot of information. Try to make it in a way
Right.
that's easy to
Right.
digest. I remembered I have one more thing, and then I want to see if Hamilton has anything to add. So I have an NDA here that we're asking for the county to sign as we move forward. I'm going to leave a copy of this here, and I will also email it, I guess, to the county attorney
Okay.
to look at. And that is so that all entities, because this is highly competitive.
Right.
That all entities that we're working with can feel comfortable with sharing, their needs, and we can develop this plan.
Okay. And the NDA is between each entity,
Each
county,
county
each
will be
city.
asked to sign an NDA, and each of the clinic sites. So let me see if Isaac has something to add on.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Annette. Nicely done. The only thing I would add, and I think this addresses a question about the other initiatives, a piece of the plan that we've all been working on is to form what's called a clinically integrated network in the region. And it's not super important that everybody understand deeply what that means, but what is important about it is it's a formal collaboration and done a little bit differently. Instead of all the hospitals in Texas, for example, forming a clinically integrated network, instead, we look at this geographic area and say, let's bring together the hospital districts, the primary care providers, both FQHC, private, et cetera, and pharmacies, all into a formal arrangement. And the idea behind it is to create connectivity across the patient journey, right? So as they leave the pharmacy, their primary care provider knows that the med reconciliation has been done, so forth and so on. But what's important for this meeting is by forming that clinically integrated network, it allows this coalition to have access to 5 of those 6 initiatives. If you don't form one, it really is just initiative 1.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
I would like to mention, it's just a discussion item. I don't know if we have to bring back signing. That we're gonna, if we're gonna call and see if, we have to do that.
Is Blair still on?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just distributing it right
Okay,
now, and I
yeah.
can send it in.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Yes.
Thank you, Lynette.
Thank you, Isaac.
I'm still here. I
Thank
heard
you,
my name.
Isaac.
Did you catch all that, Blair?
No, not at the end.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, we're presented with a non-disclosure agreement for what's going to be between Hamilton Health and the County of Presidio. They have it. We can scan it and send it to you, see if you're good with it, and then we can see how you want us to move forward.
Yeah, go ahead and send it to me. I think it'll probably need to be put on the agenda for the next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the 25th too late for you to receive this back? Okay.
Is it,
Great.
Deidre?
Thanks for. No, it's not.
Actually, let's ask Isaac. I say no, but Isaac, is the 25th too late?
No, that should not be too late. That should work just fine. And I would just add, Blair, as you're reviewing it, I'd be happy to hop on a call if that's useful to discuss.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, I see we have
Thank you
a
so much.
special meeting on the 17th, but I think it's probably too late to throw this on that agenda. So it'll need to be the 25th.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, so thank you so much, Lynette. Is there anything else anyone wants to add? I could bring up a lot of stuff, but I don't want to right now. I just want to let this kind of sink in, and we're gonna cross our fingers. So we'll move on to agenda item number 12, discussion with action to approve the posting of the notice of election for the joint primary election to be held March 3rd, 2026. Ms. Catania?
It's just, posting.
You're just checking off a box, dotting an I, crossing a T?
I move that, so it's formalities. I just move that we approve the posting of the notice of election for the joint primary election to be held on March 3rd, 2026.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 13, discussion on the update on the rural ambulance services grant.
Okay, as the court, and this was just, wanting to keep everyone informed. We formed a task force in early December to work specifically on the rural ambulance services grant, which will be $500,000 to a county, and we all feel that we are certainly qualified to get that. The members of the task force are myself, our emergency management coordinator, Gary Mitchke. Then we had a city council representative from both Presidio and Marfa, and then the EMS directors from Presidio and Marfa. So that was Eddie Payadas from Marfa, that was Bianca Bayon from Presidio, and then the EMS directors are Jesse Pena from Marfa, and then Troy Sparks from Presidio. We've had 2 meetings to date. We had a meeting on the 18th in Marfa, and then we had another meeting on January 5th in Presidio. At the meeting on January 5th, we realized in order to put this grant forward, we needed to have interlocal agreements between the county and the city of Presidio and the city of Marfa, which we did not have. So I presented to the city of Presidio on January 26th. But before I go much further, Blair, if you're still on there, we owe a debt of gratitude to Blair Park for being able to knock these interlocal agreements out. As you all know, she just had her child, and Blair had a lot of back and forth with the city of Presidio's attorney and the city of Marfa's. But I presented on January 26th in Presidio. It passed unanimously, and we have a interlocal agreement in place with them. Then Marfa met on January the 29th, and little back and forth with each of the cities between Blair and the attorneys, and they approved unanimously on January 29th. Then I scrambled and came and met with Carrie, who is the goddess of all goddesses, and she was able to submit the application in time because it was due on the 31st, but that was a Saturday, so we had to submit it on Friday the 30th. Just to let y'all know, right now, as Joe has been always alluding to, rules change. Rules constantly change. The current rules say that only one provider in a county will get the ambulance. And I have solicited for support on that. I have sent emails myself to the chair of the Rules Committee out of the Comptroller's office, and also I've had a phone call with their attorney. On top of that, Representative Eddie Morales wrote a letter on behalf of Presidio County, because we seem to be somewhat of the exception of the rule. We have two providers. We have one from Presidio and one from Marfa. That doesn't typically happen. And what we're asking is that we be allowed to receive the $500,000 for the rural ambulance, and that we be able to split that in half, 250 for Presidio, 250 for Marfa. The committee has already received bids for both of those ambulances. And what they're doing is they're just doing a rebuild to their box or their chassis, I can't remember.
Remount.
Yeah, a remount on each of the ambulances. They're both Frazier ambulances. Each of them came in under $250,000. Each of the cities had a $5,000 contingency fee. But during our task force meetings, we made sure that if for any reason that something should happen where Presidio needs like 256,000 and Marfa needs less, that there was agreement by the task force that the cities that spent less would make that available to the other city. So it was a really nice and simpatico meeting. So I just basically wanted to let y'all know that we have this, we got it submitted, and we will know when we know. My understanding is it will be the comptroller's office that makes the decision by crunching information from each of the providers if we end up just getting one ambulance. That it will be the comptroller's office that makes that decision, which takes a lot of heat off the task force and hopefully lessens the separation between north and south, or Marfa and Presidio, however you want it. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention, that that's where we were, and update y'all on what that looks like. And while we're there, so with that grant, Carrie, do you have any updates on the Colonia grant? Did we?
We were, unfortunately, we were not awarded to further.
Okay, okay.
We weren't in the, award range.
Okay, thank you. So that's all I have for that item. If y'all have any questions. I believe it was, discussion only.
I have a question about the Colonia grant. What happened there? Why were we not awarded?
We haven't,
They don't,
yeah.
they don't give us detail. They didn't give me any detail. They just sent out the list of who's awarded to our regions, which would be the COG, and I looked on there and we just were in the grade.
Were we late?
No.
No. Okay.
So
thank y'all.
we'll move on to agenda item number 14, discussion with action to approve the use of the Presidio County Courthouse and lawn for the Kylie Justice wedding on April 18th.
Thank you, Judge. So Kylie Justice is wanting to get married on the grounds of our Presidio County Courthouse here in Marfa. It's going to be April 18th, 2026. They think it will be 55 to 65 people. It's going to take place from 5 to 6 p.m. And JP Precinct 1, Dina Marquez, is going to be performing the ceremony. They did ask if at all possible, if it were inclement weather, would they be able to move into the second floor jury room or courtroom. And in that Dina is actually performing the ceremony, that would make it easy for that to happen. So, you know, I've brought wedding and events to y'all before when they deal with the courthouse. You know, it's a commons, it's a public space, but I'm asking for y'all's approval so I can get back to Kylie and let her know she can get married here.
I assume the 18th, April 18th is a weekend?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna do.
If Gina's doing the wedding, she'll be here, she'll be able to let them in
Yeah,
if the weather isn't permittable. So.
Correct.
I'm gonna move we approve the use of the Presidio County Courthouse and lawns for the Kyle Justice wedding on April 18th, 2026.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations to them.
Thank y'all so much. And of course, I will be going over them with the need to provide their own trash barrels to make sure, buddy, a lot of times when this happens, if they have a mic or music outside, we have to make sure that the electricity is turned on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agenda item number 15, discussion with action to approve the name change on the short-term management contract for the Presidio County Golf Course and Vizcaíno Park Group from Curly Cup Gumweed LLC to High Desert Golf.
So folks, this is just a formality. As you know, that when we presented that short-term management contract, and this is more for our county attorney to have for her record, but the Curly Cup Gumweed LLC has changed their name and they are now a nonprofit, and they changed it to High Desert Golf Inc. So they promised that they would let us know, so I'm bringing it back in front of the court to make sure that we have that for our records.
Okay, I've got a crying baby, so I'm gonna try to be quick. Just for the purpose of the motion, rather than a name change, because it's technically not a name change, it's a new entity. What we're going to do is an assignment of the contract. So whoever does the motion, if you can just make sure you word it as approving an assignment of that contract from Curly Cup to whatever the new entity is called. Thank you.
I got it. Thank you, Blair. I can make that motion.
Go ahead.
Unless y'all have questions.
Heisler,
Yes.
how's it going?
It's going well, Frankie. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. I have a question. Is it gonna mess with the contract that we already have with them?
No. It's with the same people.
No,
They
I
just
know.
went from an LLC to a non-profit and they changed their name. It's the same entity, Frankie. The same short-term contract.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't change nothing.
No, not at all.
Just the name. Okay.
The name. So I'd like to move that we approve the assignment of the contract on the short-term management contract for Presidio County Golf Course and Vizcaíno Park from Curly Cup Gumweed LLC to High Desert Golf Inc.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yay. Thank y'all.
So agenda item number 16, discussion with action to approve providing funding to assist in the payment of pump repair to the main well at the Presidio County Golf Course.
Okay, so High Desert Golf got in touch with me and the main pump at the golf course went out. Just to let y'all know, before we had the golf course defunded, I was scrambling to try to replace that pump, but we couldn't find the expert that could tell us what we needed. And Alicia can attest to how many different purchase orders and everything I was trying to get through before the defunding. And so basically, the High Desert Golf has come to me and they understand their responsibilities, but I would remind the court that our road and bridge crew also uses that water from the main pump. The repairs came out to be $18,837.05. So I guess I'm just coming to the court to ask y'all, is there any potential that we could possibly, in good faith, because this is still a short-term management contract. This isn't the long-term, contract that we hope to be entering into. And so they're basically managing our asset until we get to that point. So I was wondering if there's any potential, and I'll throw out a number to you. A third of that cost would be $6,269.01.
Say it again.
$6,269.01 would be a third of that cost. And I want to be clear, because the High Desert has said it over and over to me again. They understand their responsibilities, but if they can get some assistance as they're starting it up, they would greatly appreciate it.
Deidre, where would this money be coming from?
I was going to come to you, Madam Auditor, and suggest that a line item transfer possibly be done out of the Ag Extension Agent budget, in that we do not have an Ag Extension Agent right now. And I think they're funded for this final year.
Ruben does not have a budget. He did not budget it for any repairs.
I know. Yeah, and I'm not trying to hit up the road and bridge, but in looking at the budget, I thought that might be the best place to take it out.
Heisler? Commissioner Heisler?
Hey. Yes.
I don't want to bust your bubble, but you remember the last meeting that we had, and that they were going to take care of the water well? And I mentioned it, they're going to use the water well, and the county's going to use the water well. And when something breaks, they're going to throw, no, it wasn't us, it was them. No, it was us, it was them. So remember we had that discussion?
Frankie, they're not saying that it was the road and bridge. This is all me just interjecting information to the court that road and bridge does use that pump, that does use that well. But I'm just asking the question, what is the pleasure of the court?
Well, I say we shouldn't fund anything, because they took responsibility to take the golf course, so they should fix the water well. And if they don't want to fix the water well, we'll try to see if we can fix the water well, and only the county can use the water well, not no one else. Because they're just gonna throw the ball. Well, we fixed it. Well, it's broken. Well, it's for y'all to turn. It's your turn to fix it now. No, well, we didn't break it. You know what I mean? So they're just gonna throw the ball at each other. I don't know if you understand me, what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say.
I understand what your assumption is, but I would counter that with, is it still a county asset? We still own it. It's up to the court. I'm good with wherever we go. If we say, no, we don't want to fund it, we don't want to assist them at all, I'm good with that, Frankie.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with Frankie. It's our well, and I understand totally what he's saying. But they've become a nonprofit. So obviously and I understand even nonprofits pay people and get money, but and our road and bridge does use the water. If they fail at that golf course, we've lost a really good entity in this county. Bottom line, I don't want them to fail. $6,000 is not a lot of money on our part to fix it. Plus the fact, I don't know what the agreement is on road and bridge using it, but if they fix it and say, we've got this lease, you go somewhere else, it'll cost a hell of a lot more than $6,000 to find a water source.
Well, I want to clarify that working with Blair on the short-term contract, as well as when we go into the RFP, we are always going to make sure that road and bridge can use that well.
Anyway, But even if they fail as a entity at the golf course, and obviously now it's working, there's another well right across the road, but I don't think it produces near the water. So I don't see that helping them a little bit also helps us as far as our road and bridge.
But why are we going to spend money that we don't have, Commissioner Buddy Knight?
Well, I think we have enough there, and I think, and my point is, if we do this, we will be helping ourselves in the long run. I really believe that. Helping the community, helping the county, and helping road and bridge.
Frankie, were you able to hear my discussion with Alicia where I've identified the funding?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, just want to make sure. So, a motion.
You have anything to add?
I say, my point of view, I know I'm gonna disagree with Frankie, but if all of a sudden they decided not to use the golf course or, drop it, we would probably have to pay the full amount to fix that well because we're using it with road and bridges, and I don't see it bad, just putting part of it to get it fixed, and then we got the well running for if we need any water, whatever it is in the basement.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be reasonable to help them out.
Do you know what kind of pump? Is it gonna be a submersible, solar?
It's submersible, but I don't know if it's solar or not.
Yeah,
We've had it go
I've
out
got
before.
the invoice, and actually the group was able to get all the labor donated. So there's no labor cost on this. And it's a SP6M-9 submersible pump, stainless shaft. And then the motor is a Grenfell's, which I have at my house. But I feel like they have in good faith, the fact that they talked the well person, which is Wood Water Service, into doing all the work for free.
Is it potable water there?
No.
No. Has it ever been tested or anything?
Not that I know of.
This is for the watering of the greens, Joe, and and all of that.
And the potable water,
they have a city line.
Yeah, there's a city line goes to the city line. There's a city line to Vizcaino, and a city line to the arena. Now I think the arena line it's the last I knew it was shut off and they were using the waterway.
Yeah,
they may have changed it.
There's wells at each place.
Yeah,
I've become an aficionado on pump stuff. So there is a city line that goes into the arena, into Vizcaino, and into the golf course, but that is a backup should we ever lose those wells.
I agree.
And we have to pay, or we don't have to pay anymore, but each entity has to pay a monthly fee to have that ability to utilize city water.
Okay.
Well, I hope, I think we have, I hope they're highly successful. My last one, they're highly successful and they bring a lot of people to the county to spend some money. It could happen, if it's done right, it could happen.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it. Who's on here?
Number 16.
I move we approve to provide funding to assist in the payment of the pump repair at to the main well of Presidio County Golf Course for the sum of $6,269.01.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda item number 17, discussion with action to approve the termination of the contract with the Lone Star Strategy Group effective February 15th, 2026.
So here I am, guys. Y'all heard my speech before. Joe, I know your feelings of sometimes we have to swing in order to get things, swing for the fence, but I'm not seeing a return on our investment, unfortunately, sir. at the end of February, we will have spent $96,000 on the Lone Star Strategy Group. And I was hoping that Ramon would be here so that he could talk about what he has brought, what the Lone Star Strategy Group has brought in. And to the best of my knowledge, it is only the $50,000 grant from NACO. When I start thinking about all the needs, I mean, we heard Jessica this morning and what we need for the annex. I actually went over to the road and bridge facility in Presidio the other day, and they have a great structure. They have the plans. They have purchased all of the materials, but it's been 6 years and they still don't have the offices done. They don't have the outdoor bays to work on their equipment. And I think we need to invest in ourselves, y'all, instead of spending money on grants when we know the challenges that are ahead of us. Grant writing is easy enough to do. I saw that during the Colonia grant where I worked closely with the auditor and with the executive assistant of the judge, and we were able to get language together. I get concerned that writing a grant is just easy, and to pay $96,000 over the last 2 years to me doesn't make a lot of sense, because the Lone Star Strategy Group does not administer those grants. That falls back on the county to do. So, I thought, well, I don't have the votes, but I couldn't live with myself, and I needed to bring it up again because their contract is due. I felt like, well, maybe we're in a little bit better shape this year because, or for going into next year's budget, because we defunded the North Park. But every bit of the money we saved on the defunding of North Park went towards a 3% pay increase that the Commissioners Court agreed to for this fiscal year for our employees. We have desperate need of an elections administrator in our county. Right now, the tax assessor's office is overwhelmed dealing with elections. The county and district court is overwhelmed with dealing with elections. Election integrity should be top on our list as elected officials to make sure that our elections are fair. So my intent is, I think that we terminate this contract, and then in the budget cycle, I do plan on coming to this court and asking for an election administrator position. That's all I got.
Judge, good morning. I'm here. Ramon unfortunately could not be there. He is at the Water in the Desert Summit that he is gathering information for projects in the Presidio area. But I am here, and I know that Commissioner brought up the $50,000 for the Realm grant that we are still working on. We have to present in Washington, D.C. At the end of May for that grant. But I'd also like to add that we did receive the funding for cybersecurity, which probably evens out the amount that you're bringing up, Commissioner. I know that grant is going to open up again here in February. And I was also at the South Texas Communities Summit on Friday all day. We met with 7 different state agencies on upcoming funding, as well as the community project application is also coming up due. We are planning a trip to DC second week of March to go visit with the congressman and his staff to make sure that we get priority on this round, since we have not been funded the last couple of times. This has proven to be very successful. Once we travel up to DC, I've had 3 other counties that did receive grant funding over $1 million to $3 million. So although Commissioner Heisler, is not in our favor. I believe that we do bring value, and with that funding that she mentioned, I'd also like to add that I do employ a resident of Presidio County, and he does take some of that funding. So I will let the court decide. We have brought several opportunities to the sheriff's department and other grant opportunities that we are doing in other counties. But it seems like we keep getting stiff-armed, and I feel like it's politically driven. But we're going to keep fighting and doing what we can as our firm has committed to you all, and we continue to keep trying to bring grant funding that we can apply for. The admin, we did submit an RFP. Commissioner Heister did, I guess, say that we didn't have it complete, but we did, and we are certified to administer that type of grant. It was tabled. I know she brought to you, Judge, that why was this pushed to the very last minute? But if you remember, it was on the agenda a month before, and she is the one that tabled it, that put the county in that position. So it was not selected. It needed a little more TLC and some engineering that needed to accompany that to be selected for the next round. But I will let the court decide on what they want to do with us. And I appreciate the time you've given us. I'm so glad that we have Ramon there personally attending to the county. And I'd like to add that he was also part of that committee with the ambulance grant that we brought to Presidio County when I met with the state agency that brought that funding. So I know we were left out here in that report that Commissioner Heisler gave, but we had a big part in bringing that to the county, and Ramon was part of that committee as well.
Ms. Utley, if I can just clarify, I don't want this to be political, but you seem to. In the Lone Star Strategy report that we just read, Ramon clearly pointed out, he was invited to the committee meetings, but no, he did not have a position on the committee. But Ramon was at all meetings, absolutely. And I will say that when you say that you brought the grant to the rural ambulance, Ms. Utley, I think that was for all counties. That was a county grant, but I don't want to, get into any arguments with you. I did not say your application was incomplete. We had a committee of 3 that decided that we wanted to go back out on the RFP. And I think if you would have returned my call prior to that committee meeting, that we could have explained that to you. So enough said. I don't want to waste the court's time, but I did want to clarify that to you.
So my thing
I
is,
have a clarifying. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say I think I'm one of 2 offices that run grants. Us in the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office definitely runs more grants than anyone in the county, by number of grants and also by a sheer amount. So I think it would be good to ask us about our thoughts on grant administration and grant running. I think it would be good if we're up for contract renewal to bring up whether we can include grant administration in the contract. Applying for grants is extremely easy compared to administering them and reporting. I know when I apply for state grants like SB 22, stuff like that, the application process for SB 22 is it's so stupid, it's easy. But then when you get to the reporting, I mean, I spend hours and hours, and my assistants also spend many, many hours preparing reports for that. And if we're paying someone a grant administrator or a grant office this much money, it'd be so nice to be able to hand that off to them and get those hours back for us, I guess. So that's my question, is if we continue, if it's possible to include that in our renewal for the grant reporting or grant administration to be included. And I don't think I don't want to speak for Shauna. I hope she's still on. But I don't think, for me, the application process, I've still been doing my own applications, but having them take it over wouldn't be much of a help for me just because they're so simple. It would really be the administration that's the issue.
So Blair, I'm glad you brought that up. In our initial contract, that is part of it. We have just been kind of, again, I guess the word is stiff arm. All the other counties we help, we are the project manager. We have our email, we have our name within the portal to where we have access to help with the administration. We have just been told that we basically, they don't need our help from moving forward. We're still administering the $50,000 one, whether it seems like little or not. We have put in a lot of time and effort between myself and Ramon, and of course the judge, into that one grant that's a 1.5 year commitment, and we still need to get to DC to go present our project. So that, and then we tried to, of course, be part of the cybersecurity grant. We were not allowed, so luckily Commissioner Ortiz stepped in and we got to work with him because once again we were told that we weren't allowed to be on the portal. So I agree, that is part of, we need to see it through. Yes, we need the auditor as a financial officer, but there are reports and things that we can still assist with, and we have no problem doing that. That was something that we made sure we included from the get-go.
Okay,
So
I
I think
was always under the impression that y'all didn't administer grants, so I will, if the contract was renewed, I will work with y'all to turn over my grants. I've got a federal grant and a state grant over to y'all for the reporting, and that would save many hours off of my office.
Most definitely. We helped one county who had changed sheriffs and they needed help with everything, was not, was very far behind, 3 years behind. We came in and took care of their OLS and got everything situated for them. So we have the experience between myself, Samson, and Ramon. We're handling that. So it's not a problem for us. We can help you with whatever it is that you need, whether it's applying for it or applying and administering. Right now, we're working on all the ones that are out for your office in particular, for other counties. We just feel like every time we bring something, we're told, no, we're good, we have it, but we'd love to help you, Blair, with all of that.
I think what happens is we get territorial, and then very often, this is my experience. Very often, what happens is if someone disagrees with you on an issue or a direction or a project, and then it somehow passes, it's going to go through a gauntlet, and it's going to get poked and prodded. We were talking about the commissioner earlier about the annex. We did hire an engineer, and he's a local engineer by the name of Juan Sainz. He just recently got elected to the city council. And of course, there's two sides to a coin. One coin is he never got back to us. He never gave us information. He never did this. The other side of the coin is when talking with Mr. Sainz, he said, I got stiff-armed. I got run through the ringer. They questioned my degree. They questioned my credentials. I mean, if you haven't been, I mean, I could take you to the 4 or 5 construction projects he has going on right now in Presidio. He's building a beautiful home for the local dentist on the hill. It's stunning, beautiful house. He does have the credentials, but it goes back to the same thing. I agree wholeheartedly with what Ms. Utley is saying. Is that we decide on a narrow vote, 3-2, to do something, and then it's going to be bound for a roadblock. Right. So I'm disappointed that you're bringing this up mid-year. I mean, we went through the budget, we got everything done.
It's the contract, Joe. It's driven by the contract.
You may be correct.
Right.
It may be time to renew the contract. I don't know if it has language in there that says it will automatically renew for the next 30 days or for 6 months. I don't know that. But again, all this can be fixed again during budget time.
Right.
So you're right. We didn't get the Colonia. I do agree that they did help. Ramon helped with the ambulance. They did bring it to our attention. He does bring other things. I know we have a community development block grant that we're looking at. I was, for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking to Lone Star, with the congressman. Actually, I just couldn't make it. I had a conflict in the schedule, but I wanted to get on there. So we're looking at that as well. So I just don't want to give up on those opportunities.
Well, Joe, you know, I spoke with the sheriff's office before this meeting. They want no one working on sheriff's
and that's-
grants
and
but
that's
the
fine.
sheriff's
That's fine.
office.
That's fine.
And I guess I would
And back
invite,
to
can I finish my statement?
Back to Blair's
I'm gonna
point.
finish my statement, Joe.
Back to
I think I
Blair's
have the
point.
floor. And I feel that perhaps we should ask, our auditor or treasurer, of what it looks like with grants and how much they've had to step in on those. And Joe, you know, it's like, it's a lot of money and our county doesn't have the resources. And I just want to see what few resources we have to go through towards fixing things that we own. And I think it's a real luxury to think we can afford a grant writer slash, if Ms. Utley is saying administrator, I'll give her that, slash administrator. When I go around to many of the other counties, I go to a lot of commissioners court in the Tri-County area, and no one else has that luxury. And here we are, the one of the poorest counties in Texas, and we think we can afford it, Joe, and we can't. That's what it comes down to. We can't.
Commissioner.
So
May I say
I think we can. I think, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was listening to this whole conversation and I just wanted to chime in because I am still here on the Zoom. So Commissioner Heisler is correct. We have zero desire to turn any grants over. We've been running our grants in-house for many, many years. I write the grants, I administer the grants. I've kept inventory of the grants when there was no inventory to speak of anywhere within the county. I brought in just under $3 million in grant funds up to this point by myself. So it can be done. And so we're clear moving forward, we will not be turning over Senate Bill 22 or Operation Lone Star fiscal year 26 or fiscal year 27 or Operation Stone Garden. At this point, we're good to continue managing those ourselves.
And we're not trying to take over anything. We're just here to assist. We're also, you know, apply for any equipment you all need. And if you all want to take over that is totally fine. We're just saying that we do offer the support if you all need it. And we do offer that to other counties. That's all. That's the only thing I'm saying. And the only reason we worked with you all, Shauna, is because that cybersecurity grant does fall under the sheriff department realm because of law enforcement. So, and Homeland Security, that's how we kind of got mixed up. Not that we're trying to take over anything that you do or, you know, saying you're not doing it correctly. I merely was bringing up the example that we do assist with those types of grants, and that is part of our scope as well, if needed.
Right. And I wasn't saying that you were implying that. I'm just saying, like Blair said, that's fine. She was happy to turn it over. So I just wanted to say that's not the approach that we're going to be taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I kind of want
I
to
think we've had
back up or kind of piggyback off of Shauna. If almost all of the grants in the county are with the sheriff's office, who definitely most of them, and then a few of them in my office, if we're going to spend this much money on grant writers, it makes sense. It only makes sense if they're taking over those grants. But if they're not, for whatever reason, taking over those grants, then I don't know if the money's worth it. But that's not my decision. That was just the point I was making, is that we've got hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants being run through the county that Lone Star isn't handling because they're already being handled interdepartmentally. And so that's why I think there's such a discrepancy on the amount of money we're spending on them versus the amount of money being brought in, is because all of our big grants are already being handled internally and we don't really need outside help on them.
I think and I'll tell you, let me say this. I think we've had enough discussion on this, so we'll get moving here. We'll get
I want to speak on this, please.
Please.
All right. And I just got a couple of questions and I'll run my mouth a little bit. How much is the contract per year? 48,000, is that correct?
pretty close.
How many dollars in grants did you find each year for us?
We're right about the amount that we have been paid out. We're at about 94, 95.
So we're at zero sum.
Correct.
Okay. For our, when's the contract up?
February 15th.
So can we, and I know we can't do it today, but my suggestion is from February 15th for a month, and does the contract say it can be renewed 1 month at a time?
I don't know.
Or is it's just a yearly contract? Right. And I'm gonna suggest this, that if we want somebody to be a grant finder, then let's advertise for a grant finder plus administration and go from there.
Yeah.
As a county employee or as a consultant, what do you think?
I'm just saying as an outside entity, and I'm not opposed to a county employee being a grant finder and administrator if we can find one.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would cost us a year.
Well, I think that's one of the points that Shauna and Blair brought up, which is there are mechanisms within the grants themselves for an administrative fee.
Right.
In those instances, which we've never really tackled or tried to tackle, but where Shauna should get her just desserts, is if the grant allows for 6% or 8% to fund that, then she should get that as a stipend, or an addition to her pay, because they are difficult and they are very time consuming, and they do have a lot of data that needs to be collected and put in some sort of order, and it comes with a huge responsibility, because if you lose out on it, if you miss something, and it goes away, and I think there's been on occasion at the sheriff's office where they lost a stone road, and we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, I go back, this shouldn't be the whole responsibility of this shouldn't be on one person where you dump this 500-pound gorilla on them, because we all make mistakes, and the more eyes that are on it, the better off we are. We still have a lot of, we were just talking about the rural healthcare initiative and all the monies that are going to be available. One thing they didn't discuss, we're looking at as a combined group for the network to be pulling about $30 million a year for 5 years. That's a huge amount of money. One of the other things we didn't bring up, we're trying to also bring in the EMSs, where they're going to be under that umbrella as well, and probably a part of our primary care system. So there's a lot of things that are happening. There's a lot of things happening with water. There's a lot of grant opportunities, community development block grant, Texas Water Development Board. So I just think it's worth it to wait. We still have the budget year. If we want to amend the contract in February to be month by month, okay, let's do that. If you want to readdress it at agenda time, all right, let's go. Or budget time, okay, let's do that. I just don't know why we're bringing this up right now.
We're bringing it up because of the contract date, Joe. And also, I really think we should hear from, I'd like to hear what Commissioner Ortiz has to say about it. I think we should all be a part of the discussion. But Joe, there's community block grants that are run by the city of Marfa and the city of Studio, and those are run by their staff.
I don't know if I had a little clicker and I put how many words you say and how many the rest everybody says, I'd win by a mile.
Well, and let's talk about the amount of effort and work that I do, Joe, versus.
Hey guys, I'm gonna say,
let's
stop. I'm gonna say something again. Right now, with the contract we got, we're kind of zero sum. If they get 48,000 a year, they're producing 48,000. That's.
They're gonna pay 4,000.
Huh?
4,000.
48,000 a year. And she says they've done since they've been paid, it's they found about what they've been paid. That's a zero sum total, honestly. However, having said that, I read a book a long time ago by the name of Robert Ruark, and he said, when you remove something of value, you should replace it with something of equal or greater value. And moving forward, I would like to see us advertise. You know, it don't cost nothing to look at the menu. Advertise for a grant seeker that would also administrate or break it up. And from there, move forward. I would let them, and to me, at this point in time, I'd table this and I would move forward. And within a month, we should have something on the agenda and we can go forward from there. Or within 2 weeks. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, and
Commissioner,
Frank, the
I guess
last time,
the question or the point you're bringing up is let's advertise for a grant writer and grant administrator, which is what we've done. Those are the two that we have received, but we have applied for several grants and we brought several grants. We were just not allowed to apply for them from the different departments. But we have done a lot of work, a lot of background work. Just like that TDA one that was applied for internally. I mean, they didn't get it. They didn't even move to the second round, and that was just to move to the second round. These are highly competitive grants. Another thing Judge brought up is all the funding coming in from the federal, from HRSA, really. There is an initiative. There's 202 rural counties that are going to be eligible for funding for rural programs to bring in and recruit physicians and nurses and healthcare providers that you all qualify for. That's other grants that are going to be coming in. So I am doing the work behind the scenes when I'm hearing that what I'm being paid is not of substantial value. There is so much more work being done than that itself. From flying to DC on my own dollar, I don't ask the county for any kind of any kind of fee. Going to Austin regularly, talking to our legislators, talking to their staff, getting letters of support. I mean, there's a lot more. The reason I came up with this concept and this business is because my husband is a county judge with a very limited budget, and he could not afford to have a grant writer and pay a salary and benefits and everything that brings. He pretty much has to write his own grants at this point. I mean, they are very limited too. Every now and then, they'll have to go for procurement for a very large one. But this is a luxury, but you are also getting a benefit, and you also are having a local person employed that is there one-on-one and that can come meet with whoever needs to meet with him on behalf of Lone Star Strategy Group. So when I'm being looked at as, okay, we're not there, we are always there. Ramon is involved in everything. He is probably more involved than anyone sitting in commissioner's court. I'll be really honest. He's got the time to do that, and he's got the knowledge. And so what we bring is going to be totally different than someone sitting behind a desk trying to write grants and administer something. We're far more than that.
You're assuming, ma'am, you seem to be assuming something that, how do you know if we put it out for bids what we get? That it's just somebody sitting behind a desk? I'm just saying it's time we look at this a little bit.
Frank,
I
I wanted to
think we
kind of
have
add
enough
to
to
that.
go.
The last time we had this conversation, which would have been, I think, last February, because the way this contract is on a February schedule for some reason, I had brought up that Shauna is doing obviously the most work of anyone on grants, and that's definitely I don't think anyone who can argue that, and that she should be paid for that. And right now, the way they're structuring it, it's structured, she's not getting paid any additional for the additional work that she does for grants. And so I had kind of mentioned
Right.
at the last meeting that if we can find a way, whether it's, hiring her on a contract or as a part-time on a separate, under a separate position, to make sure that she gets, because what we know now is the sheriff's office it doesn't matter who you bring in, they don't want to go outside of their department for administrating these grants. Shauna's been doing it and they want her to continue doing it. So the only thing at this point for the sheriff's office is to look at how to get Shauna, paid for the work that she's doing, Because that is, all this additional work she's doing is definitely 100% outside of her administrative position.
And I've
And
talked to the sheriff's office about it, is just reclassify her position, make it
yeah,
administrative at an exempt employee.
So
and
what
with a
I'd like
salary.
and
to do,
that's
y'all.
and that's kind of
is,
exactly what I'm
bring it
saying
back,
is if
Claire. I think we need to go back to the agenda item. I think that's a great discussion, but I think we've had a lot of discussion on this agenda, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve the termination of the contract with the Lone Star Strategy Group effective February 15th, 2026.
Okay, so I have a motion.
Yeah, I don't want to remove them until we have a way to replace them.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say, Heisler.
I know
we
exactly.
can work on
and I
getting it
don't
a
like
month to
it.
month if
The
that's what
bottom
you
line
want
to
to
me
do.
is that, hey, I'm tired of that.
Stand by, Blair.
Okay. My thought being that what I said earlier, we can work on looking at advertising for it, see what we get. These may be the best guys for the job. But I'm just saying, I would suggest, my suggestion would be instead of just table it for this time.
So I have a motion to terminate. I do not have a second. I'll continue with discussion. And go ahead.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to say something, Mr. Ortiz.
No, it would be okay to table it right now, Heisler.
Okay.
I'm with you. And the auditor, you want to say
Just to clear things up, grant administration, the funding for grant administration that grants provide, it's not exactly as Blair puts it out there, you just get money from, and not every grant provides that. And to be honest, the majority of grants are all in my office, so I deal with two, the sheriff's office deal with a couple, but at the end of the day, they all come to me. And we manage many other grants in this county.
Well,
I am not sure what the answer is here, whether eventually, I like the judge's idea of having this as a budget item in the future, kind of see maybe an employee in the judge's office that can take care of grants. But this whole like, oh, we'll pay this employee out of that grant, not all grants work that way.
so I guess my next question, if it's tabled, does the contract die February 15th if we don't do
we
anything?
keep paying them $4,000 a month.
Okay.
That's why I felt it'd be cleaner to terminate it.
Now, can either party terminate at any time?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd still say table it.
Okay. So I have a motion. It dies on without a second.
Okay.
So it dies and we just move on.
Thank y'all for the discussion.
You're
I knew what I was up against, but
Yeah,
I think that the court needs to know.
I still say this, but my old uncle used to, don't cost nothing to look at the menu.
Right,
So let's
right.
look around a little bit.
Right.
So let's move on to agenda item number 18, discussion with action to approve the proposal from Financial Intelligence to remap the chart of accounts in advance of the installation and training of the new financial software. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. So last year around this time, we also approved the contract for a new financial software for the county. Finally, we're getting around to we're in the beginning process of all this fun stuff. One of the things is the chart of accounts. That's what manages our governmental funding. It's not fun. It's not pleasant. It's a lot of work. It's not part of the original contract. This is an add-on for them to map our chart of accounts. If they wait for me to do it, right now my assistant's out on maternity leave. We're working on an audit and we're switching financial software. So for them to be waiting on me to chart it myself will take many months, and we don't want to be wasting time because we want to go live before we start the budget process. So the cost of this add-on is $4,000, $425. I do have that money available in my budget at the moment. So that's where that funding would come from. The first payment would be $2,000, and at the end of the installation, we would get the second part.
And that's an annual fee, $4,400?
No, this is a one-time fee.
Okay.
And this is just for the mapping of the chart.
Yeah. I know when we had to go through that and it's painful. I'm being facetious when I say that it's.
No, I know.
So I think when we redid the city of Presidios, I think we got rid of something like 14 or 15 that were just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Somehow they were created, they lived their useful life, and they're still sitting there.
Yes, sir.
And you still have to reconcile.
Well,
I got
you
bad news
see-
for you.
You guys see our
So,
budget, it's
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
300-page
Yeah.
thing that it's unnecessary.
So, no, and they'll be able to fix the things that we see like at the end of the budget. And then it looks like the county judge spent $1 million and I'm just a catch-all for everything. I paid for somebody's new phone. I paid for somebody's this. I paid for somebody's that, and we don't have it. So I wish you the best of luck. I think that's money well spent. So
I'd like to move that we approve the proposal for financial intelligence in the amount of $4,425 to remap the chart of accounts in advance of the installation of training of the new financial software.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Discuss. Thank you so much, Frank. Discussion with action to remove David Beebe from the Presidio County Investment Committee and replace him with Commissioner Deirdre Hissler. The committee is in charge of reviewing investment portfolio status and performance and advising the investment officers.
Yes, sir. So Commissioner Bibi was part of that original committee. So he's no longer about Presidio County, and we do need to replace him because we're looking into doing more things with the investments, and we just like to update the committee. And that's Deidre is a suggestion. If you have anybody else in mind, I mean, that's
Unless there's somebody that volunteers, somebody. Any discussion?
I'm gonna move that we remove David Beebe from Presidio County Investment Committee and replace him with Commissioner Deidre Heisler.
Second.
I have a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Agenda item number 20, discussion with action to approve the yearly renewal of the Presidio County investment policy in accordance with Government Code 2256.005 little c.
Yes, sir. So this is the yearly renewal of the Presidio County investment policy. It's the same policy as that we've been adopting past, this is our third year. Eventually we would like to add other stuff on it, but as of right now, it's the same, policy as previous years, and it's actually added to the driver's test. And we are required to renew it here.
No changes, nothing.
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm gonna move we approve the yearly renewal of Presidio County investment policy in accordance with Government Code 2256.005.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Department reports, agenda item number 21, discussion with action to approve the Presidio County department reports, and they're listed A through K. Were they all submitted, Ms. Nunez?
Yes, sir. All departments reports are all there, everybody's caught up. It's wonderful.
Yay. I'll make a motion that we approve Presidio County department reports as presented.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. And then I'll add that I believe we were gonna do one for the VA's office.
Right.
So,
Oh,
Okay.
I apologize, I completely, let me put that in,
okay,
no way I can start.
very good. So I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And administrative updates and announcements from the county judge and commissioners. Commissioner Ortiz, do you have any?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining in too. I know you're busy and on the road and trying to make a living, so.
I'm sorry that I got
appreciate-
on. I'm sorry I got on late today.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm trying, you were on not too late after the meeting started. So you didn't miss a lot. So thank you for making the effort, Commissioner Knight.
Yes, I just want to thank Isaac and Julian. We had a water line break yesterday, day before yesterday or whatever it was. Anyway, they were out there. They had to cut the concrete. They called me about what they did. I said, go rent a saw, cut the concrete, get it off of it, fix it.
Yeah.
And they have. And that was the biggest mess of pipe. I don't know who the plumber was, but he had been smoking something when we started putting it in. Anyway, they cleaned it up and put in a couple of valves where they needed, and I hope it's on now, but they were real close this morning. I just want to really, and David French too was there this morning working. Nasty, rainy yesterday and down in that mud hole, and they worked all day, so they probably all ought to get a raise, even though I ain't gonna say that in public. They really did a good job. I'm very impressed with what they did. Now, I want to ask, you can mull this around. This is probably, Isaac doesn't want to put the concrete back. He wants to just leave an area with, fill it in and put grass in it, because he wants to be able to get to that place again without doing it. I've got mixed emotions because it breaks the sidewalk. Anyway.
What about a metal grate?
I talked
like a
about
cattle guard, but not a cattle guard.
I talked to him about that yesterday. I don't think he quite understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I think you're probably right. And yeah. And I will go, I'm going to discuss it with him when we leave here.
Great.
Or after lunch.
So I'm gonna pass, is this the whole
Yeah,
email
that's the whole
string?
email.
And it's just
Did you want me to
one?
make copies for everybody? or
No,
just-
I'm just gonna pass it around because it's just a discussion. This is just us catching up with announcements and where we're headed and what we're doing. So let me pass this around. Wow. Did you have anything else to add, Commissioner?
I'm done, no.
Okay. Commissioner Hernandez?
Well, I just, on that, really interesting meeting we had with
I've
TechDOT,
read this.
I talked to one of the supervisors, see if he can help me with, one of the creeks in Bedford. The old Catholic church, the creek, it's biting the hill and the cemeteries on top. So I'm afraid it's gonna start caving down and the graves are gonna be exposed. So I asked them for help, and I'm just gonna wait, see what they say. If not, we're gonna have to get the county. Because the creek is going around, cutting the hill for the cemetery, and then it'll go straight and goes through some houses, so it's not going through where the creek should usually go through. So I hope I can get some help.
Good luck. So I'm going to give my report, and part of the reason that I speak so much, Joe, is because I work very hard and I'm proud of the work I do. And so I like to make sure that I keep everyone abreast of the things I'm working on. I have been attending, I was asked by the Brewster County judge to go to their task force meetings. They are discussing the potential of a North County ESD, Emergency Service District. And they already have one in South County. It looks like they're going to put it to the voters in North County. And I found it really good that I was attending because I see the potential of Presidio County having to visit that. I will be at the Water in the Desert tomorrow. And I've been going to that since its inception, especially since I work with so many water projects for Presidio County. During the cold snap, I was the acting emergency management coordinator. And one of the things that we identified is those 2 generators down in Presidio. We couldn't get them started. They had flat tires. So I just sent license plates down there for Ruben to put on the generators so that he can bring them up here so that we can get all the generators in that sandbagger service, so that the next time we get into that situation that we'll know that they're ready to go. I've also been visiting a lot with the Presidio city manager and the mayor, and we're working on their siren system to make sure that it is in good working condition, in coordination with our current emergency management coordinator, Gary. That Texas-Mexico border transportation master plan meeting was great. I really enjoyed it. Then I will be meeting with, or I did meet yesterday with District Judge Monty Kimball regarding the Courthouse Security Committee. As you know, we have a fund that we can only spend on courthouse securities in the annex. But we cannot spend that money until a committee is appointed. And the Judge Kimball wasn't aware of that. So now he's got like 5 different counties that he has to make sure that he gets a committee put together. So he asked me to come and meet with him so that he could understand more about it. And he is going to try to get back to us on it. And that's it. I am going Monday to the VG Young Commissioner's School. I think you went to that maybe, I don't know if you went to that years ago, but it is the Commissioner Leadership School that takes place in Bryan College Station.
Yeah, College Station.
Yeah, and it's a week-long training, so looking forward to that.
Training, yes.
Yeah. That's it.
And I'm gonna touch on them and I'm not gonna discuss them. Border Trade Master Plan, Cruz, Perez Cuellar is running for governor of the state of Chihuahua. Got to visit with him on Sunday. You're hearing noise about a border wall. There's again, we're right in the middle of a political races. So we've got a lot going on, and we'll see how everything plays out. And with that, I'm gonna also suggest that I'd like each commissioner to start putting items on the agenda that are just discussion only. Things that where we can move off top dead center. The email that I passed around is some communication I've been having with the Historical Commission, and to grant an exemption for us to have a short-term plan to address HVAC. And so the thing is the Historical Commission is coming back saying, why don't you just reapply? We want you to really reapply, and there's going to be monies available. And we did. We made a sincere, wholehearted, take a swing, had a great presentation, made it all the way to Austin, and then we didn't get it. And the only thing we lost was 2 years. So again, I'm going to push for a short term, but I think we should start discussing, do we apply for it again? They're saying there's monies available. Do we apply for that? And what I'd like to do is all these things we're talking about, and you mentioned your frustration with us kicking this can down the road. Let's try to stay away from discussion with action, and let's do more discussion. So let's start putting on their repairs to the courthouse, thoughts on short-term solutions for the courthouse, whatever it is. Let's start putting those things on the agenda where we'll get a better taste of what it is we're trying to do, and hopefully move this process faster along, quicker along. So, does anyone else have anything, Ms. Catano, Ms. Rubia?
I just want to add that, we do have water. Yes.
Yay.
Ms. Sanchez?
No, sir, the only maybe, I don't know if we're not going to talk about it, but we had emailed, TK Elevator maybe 3 weeks ago. They said they would start the work from 4 to 6 weeks, from 3. So next week I'm gonna touch base with them and see where they're at with that. Hopefully we can get that elevator working soon for the employees in the public.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and I guarantee you, I walked up and down those stairs 3 or 4 times, and for a guy with a heart condition, it's not fun.
No, I imagine it's not. Ms. Nunez, do you have anything?
No, Judge.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is 12:03 p.m.